Today, I'd like to talk about dualism, dependent origination, and oneness. Dualism is a philosophical concept that exerts the existence of two separate and distinct realms of reality. In Western philosophy, dualism is commonly associated with mind-body dualism, which posits that the mind and the body are two separate entities that interact with each other. In contrast, Buddhist and Zen philosophies present a non-dualistic view of reality. In Buddhism, the concept of dualism is rejected, and instead the emphasis is on interconnectedness of all things. The Buddhist concept of dependent origination states that everything arises in dependence upon other things, and therefore there is no separate, permanent self or soul. Instead, the self is seen as a constantly changing and interdependent process composed of the five aggregates or skandhas, being form, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Similarly, Zen philosophy also promotes a non-dualistic view of reality, emphasizing the unity of all things. Zen emphasizes the idea of suchness or isness, which refers to the way things are in their natural state, without any concepts or judgments. This non-dualistic perspective is often expressed through the practice of mindfulness, which encourages the practitioner to be present in the moment and to experience reality without the interference of thought. Now, while Western philosophy commonly holds to the concept of dualism, Buddhist philosophy and Zen reject this view and instead emphasize the interconnectedness and the unity of all things. In the Buddhist concept of dependent origination, the emphasis on mindfulness both promote a non-dualistic perspective, encouraging the individual to experience reality as it is, without the influence of dualistic thought. Dependent origination is a central concept in both philosophies of both Buddhism and Zen. This concept highlights the idea that all things and experiences arise in dependence upon other factors and other conditions, and that there is no ultimate self-sufficient cause or source of being. So, dependent origination is viewed as a key to understanding the nature of reality and the causes of our suffering and our discontentments in life. The Buddha taught that our ignorance of this interdependent nature of things leads us to our attachment to a false sense of self and to the things that we experience. And then this attachment in turn leads to craving, suffering, rebirth. Through understanding dependent origination, one can overcome ignorance, attachment, and this suffering, and attain liberation, or as we sometimes call it, cessation or nirvana. In Zen, dependent origination is often viewed as a key to unlocking the true nature of reality and of the mind. Zen masters emphasize the importance of experiencing the truth of dependent origination directly, rather than just merely intellectually understanding it. So, through meditation and mindful practices, Zen practitioners aim to directly experience the interdependent nature of all things and look to see through this illusion of a separate self. In this way, dependent origination is seen as a path to liberation and a tool for cultivating wisdom and compassion. So, overall, dependent origination is a crucial concept in the teachings of both Buddhist and Zen philosophies, and is seen as a key to understanding the nature of reality and overcoming this ignorance, this attachment, and this dissatisfaction that we experience in life. So through practicing awareness of interdependence, practitioners aim to attain a deeper understanding of reality and to live a more harmonious life with all things. Zen is a school of thought that has originated from Buddhism, that emphasizes the importance of mindfulness and self-awareness in the pursuit of the attainment of Buddhahood and possibly enlightened awareness or enlightenment. One of the central teachings is the concept of oneness, which refers to the interconnectedness of all things, and the idea that everything is a part of a single universal entity. In Zen, oneness is not just an abstract idea, but it is a fundamental truth that can be experienced through meditation and self-reflection. By attaining a deep state of mindfulness, one can come to understand that everything in the universe is interdependent and interconnected, and that there is no true separation between oneself and the world around them. This realization is said to bring a sense of peace and unity as one becomes aware of the interconnectedness of all things and the fundamental interdependence of all life. One of the key aspects of the concept of oneness in Zen is the idea that everything is impermanent and constantly changing. This means that all things, including the self, are in a constant state of flux and transformation, and that there is no permanent self or unchanging essence. This understanding helps to break down the dualistic thinking that separates the self from the world, and instead encourages the cultivation of a holistic, non-dualistic perspective. Another important aspect of the concept of oneness in Zen is the idea that everything, as I said, is impermanent and has no inherent existence. This means that things only exist in relation to other things, and that everything is dependent upon the context in which it exists. This perspective challenges the notion of fixed objective reality and encourages a more fluid realistic understanding of the world. Therefore, the concept of oneness in Zen is a central teaching that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things and the importance of mindfulness and self-awareness in the pursuit of enlightened awareness, understanding. By embracing this understanding, one can cultivate a holistic, non-dualistic perspective that transcends the dualistic thinking and brings a sense of peace and unity to us. And through the practice of meditation and self-reflection, one can experience the reality of life. The interrelation of dependent origination, dualism, and oneness is a complex and multifaceted concept that can be understood through the teachings of Buddhism and other related philosophical and spiritual traditions. So, to recap, dependent origination, also known sometimes as dependent arising, is a core concept in Buddhism that explains how all things, all phenomena, arise in dependence upon other factors and conditions. According to this principle, everything exists in a state of interdependence, and nothing arises independently or by itself. This idea challenges the notion of self and provides a holistic view of reality. As all things are seen as interconnected and constantly changing. Dualism, on the other hand, is a philosophy that persists existence, the existence of two distinct and separate entities, such as mind and body, self and other, good and evil. This dualistic view of reality creates a sense of separation, which leads us to conflict, suffering, and dissatisfaction and discontentment. In Buddhism, dualism is seen as a misunderstanding of reality and an illusion that arises due to ignorance and attachment. And then finally, the concept of oneness refers to the idea that everything is interconnected and that all things are ultimately one. This holistic view of reality, it transcends dualistic thinking and recognizes the interdependence and the interconnection of all phenomena. So in Buddhism, oneness is seen as a state of enlightened awareness, enlightened understanding, wisdom, and can lead to a path of liberation from suffering, discontentment, and dissatisfaction within ourselves, within our lives. So the interrelation of dependent origination, dualism, and oneness can be understood as a progression from dualistic thinking to a more holistic and interconnected view of reality, where dependent origination highlights the interdependence and interconnection of all things, while dualism is seen as a misunderstanding of this truth. The goal of spiritual practice is to transcend this dualistic thinking and attain a state of oneness, where one recognizes the interconnection of all things. All things and experiences. The world, experience the world in a more holistic and compassionate way. So, the interrelation of dependent origination, dualism, and oneness. It is, as I said, a complex and multifaceted concept that provides a holistic and compassionate view of reality. Understanding this interrelation can help us move beyond dualistic thinking and assist us in attaining a state of oneness, where we recognize, understand the interdependence and interconnection of all things. Thank you for listening today.